Welcome all my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I'm Hanya, your demonic cinephile. And we are continuing our journey through the Saw franchise with Saw 3. Now, to be honest, I think that I really want to say this is the first Saw movie I, well, saw. Saw, you get that joke. But I'll be honest, this was, I think, really want to say the first film I saw. This came out in 2006, and I was a wee little hanyo back then. And my mom, well, I loved horror films, and she let me watch them. There's some that she wouldn't let me watch, and I think the Saw films were kind of one of them. This film picks up supposedly like a year or so after the last movie. We open back up with Detective Matthews and in the dark room in the bathroom, and he actually succeeded in escaping. Broke his foot, and just like, he couldn't cut his own foot off, but he's roped and snapped it with the lid of the toilet seat, and so he can just like shrivel it through the chain. It's like, ugh, nice bloody graphics. Mwah. And as the film goes on, the later scene, we actually get this awesome trap that I really have no memories of. I'm pretty sure this has its own fun trap name in the fandom at large, but I was gonna call it the spider trap, where you got this guy who's been in and out of prison, doesn't value his own life, and he has all these different chains hooked into different parts of his body, like two in his arm, two in his legs, some in his sides. And it's like so, ooh, it's a nasty look. It's almost like a Hellraiser. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and his trap is simple. It's simple. It's simple in terms for Jigsaw. He has to pull and yank the chains out of his skins and tendons before the timer runs out and the bomb goes off. He even has the main chain holding him down is this right going right through his jaw, and like to like connect out of his mouth. Like, how can you pull that out? You're gonna basically gonna rip off his jaw. Ugh. Jaws. I don't like jaws. I don't like messing with jaws. I don't like taking the jaws off. No, 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 no. But what makes this scene so awesome is our first introduction to Detective Hoffman of the series, who is actually named after Greg Hoffman, one of the producers, which I did not know till I started watching the end credits. And I like the good little hint that there's two hints in this film. Carrie, the detective from the last movie, she states that the game was unwinnable, which is a nice little clue to later in the game, later in the film, and into the franchise as a whole. But with Detective Hoffman, he states that all he had to do was pull the chains out, and he got the SWAT team leader from the second movie. Like, all he had to do. The latest film is the last appearance of Detective Carey. The film does this awesome edit where the camera kind of panning up, like through all the evidence on the scattered floor, shadows, more pans, more evidence, then shadow panning up, to her into Detective Carey's apartment. That was a cool shot. I love that. And sadly, this is the last appearance of Detective Carey through the franchise. There's more flashbacks because these films are abundant with flashbacks. She has this cool little like this kind of execution, like crucifixion thing, where you have these bars are implanted into her ribs. And only for her to undo the key to it, she has to stick her hand to this this like tube of acid before the acid eats away the key. But I find interesting the John's reasoning for her putting the trap. I'm basically saying that she doesn't value her life because she has more companionship with the dead. I guess you could say she's being slothful. Instead of putting in the work for human relationships, she's only focusing on those who are dead and she can form bonds with. Which I'm guessing I'm looking a little bit more deeper into it than what was written, but it was like the flimsiest reason for her to be put in the trap. But unlike most of the people in the openings who die, she actually made it. She put her hand into that thing of acid. She let it eat away some of her skin. She got the thing unlocked and she was free. Until it was shown that the trap was faulty. Going back to what I said earlier, that these traps are being messed with, that they are not designed for you to win. We get a little silhouette of someone walking up towards her, and we're supposed to be surprised, and she says, "You," which we all know is Amanda. Which I didn't know it was Amanda because I think, like I said, this was the first Saw film I watched, so I didn't know it was Amanda. But it's pretty obvious, especially when she has this red shirt is showing off her midriff. Like, yeah, I think that's Amanda. But the main game for this film is, like always, is split into two segments. We have the first game, which is being played by Surgeon Lin, who's being held captive by John and Amanda with this little firing squad thing chained around her neck. Basically saying that she has to keep John alive for the next couple hours, fix him, give him some more time in this world, and if he ever flatlines or she tries to run away, the firing squad goes off and her head goes. And the second game of the film is Jeff. Jeff is this vengeful, crazy alcoholic. So Jeff's story is he lost his boy, hit by this guy like 3 years ago, and the guy basically got scot free. And it's obsessed. He's been obsessed with it ever since, to the point that his wife left, and he's neglecting his living child, his daughter, because there's this very, very like heart-wrenching scene where she just wanted to sleep with her brother's toys. She wanted to feel close to him, and the dad just bursts into her room like, "Where is it? Where is it? Where did you put this stuff? I told you never to touch it. Don't touch this shit." It's so bad. You feel so bad for the kid. And his little test is basically similar to the house from part 2, and what eventually will become all these tests throughout the films, where he has to go through a series of rooms and either help these certain people survive or die, which I don't fully get. I mean, yeah, the people he's doing these to are technically awful people who probably, in Jigsaw's logic, not mine, deserve to be put in these games. But you never get the reasoning. Like, okay, the first person he has to save or let die is the witness to the hit and run, or not even hit and run, just a hit. The person who's there but then left and pretended like she didn't see anything. Okay, yeah, we get why she's there. The second person is the judge who gave the guy basically a life sentence before he got off completely. All right, we get that. And then, of course, there's Timothy Young, the man who actually did hit the child and killed him. It's, yeah, you hit a kid. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying anything. No judgment on my part. But from a person like Jigsaw, you kind of understand why he would be there. But they don't get their own tapes. They don't get their own tapes explaining why he thinks they deserve to be there. It's all from Jeff's point of view. It's all Jeff's game, and they're just pieces to be played with, which feels kind of weird because it takes away a lot of the personal factor. Could you think everyone's supposed to be being tested in here, but no, it's really just Jeff's game, and these people are just pawns to be saved or destroyed. Then there is the third game of the film, which is shown at the very end. This all has been Amanda's game. Yes, it's all been Amanda's game. Now, what is her game? That Amanda is a bit of a serial killer. I mean, no shock, right? You put people in death traps like this, and they don't end up living. It just kind of makes you a killer. But it's shown that some flashback happening sometime after the first game, and part one, Amanda went into the bathroom and tried to mercy kill Adam before he thrashed around, bashed his head on the toilet seat. Yeah, he suffered. And then she also tried to kill Detective Hoffman. Not Hoffman, Matthew. Which, no, they just beat each other to a pulp before she leaves him to die. And it's also shown that she made the trap in the first game, Carrie's death trap in this one. That she was the one who messed with it. So when she unlocked it, it wouldn't free her. Amanda. It was all Amanda. She was killing people. She can't accept the emotion. She can't control herself. This is just poor little Amanda. Yeah, Amanda. So Amanda's test is see if she can let a person survive. If she's willing to know the value of life. To put away her emotion need be. John, you don't want to talk, but okay, this is her test. And I don't like how this film is a little bit more emotional than the other movies. Other movies, they have these awesome moments of emotions when necessary. But it's mostly just about the kills and the blood and the scare factor, the disturbing nature. Here is a little bit more emotional because we got this, we have this weird, like, drama between John and Amanda, where John is condescending to her several times, like, Amanda, can't do this. Amanda, it's not good for you to do this. And she's just sitting there, raging, wanting to kill Lynn because she doesn't think she's helping. You can see Amanda breaking down. I really love I'm still not sure how to pronounce her name. Smith, the woman who plays Amanda. You see how much she loves John, how much they care for each other. It does have this worship to her. How she looks up to him. Because in the second film, she just say he is the father she never had. And you can see that the actress does a really great job showcasing this. How strong their connection is. You get this moment where during the operation, John starts having these flashbacks, hallucinations about Jill, his ex-wife. And he thinks Lynn is Jill. He's caressing her arm, saying how much he loves her. And you see Amanda get so pissed. Like, this girl is so jealous that she goes into her little corner of the warehouse and starts can I say this on YouTube? Cutting ritual. How she's meticulous about it, showing how she has gotten into this habit. Either something she had before, or something she started doing when she was with John. We're not really sure, but when she pulls her pants down, not like that, hurt herself. You can see all these different scars all on the same leg. It's like, how many times have you done this? It gets your mind racing of trying to figure out Amanda's psyche in all this. As is all, had she only done this when she started working with John, or are these from before? I'm taking a break from talking about boring characters and shit. And let's talk about the games. So, first game Jeff has to play is to save the life of the woman who was the witness to the hit. And instead of saying and reporting it, she just drove away and acted like nothing happened. Now, we're not exactly sure how Jigsaw found her in all this, but yep, she's here. So what is her game? She is tied up in the freezer with the sprayers about to cover her in water and freeze her to death, turn her into a popsicle. And what Jeff has to do is reach for the key between these cold bars and a locker. Simple enough. But this is Jeff. Jeff, who is obsessed with his son Steph. Jeff, who had even gotten close to dealing with his grief for 3 years, festering in hate and revenge. And he stands there and waits, arguing with her while she is being sprayed with water and she is literally freezing to death. And it's very emotional. This film plays a lot more with emotions than the first two films. Because much as you hate to see this person die, it's like you understand why he's not doing it right away. You understand why he's not going for the key right away. Like I understand why you hate her so much. You're so justified in that hatred, but how can you just stand there and watch it happen? But then again, I'm not a parent, so how would I know? And the only bad thing about this death is the end result, because when Joe says she turned into a popsicle, the woman literally turns into a popsicle. Like she's this frozen statue, like made out of ice or plastic. When the scene ends, like it doesn't even look like a person anymore. But like it went a little too overboard in that. I don't think that's going to really happen. And these movies are teetering on being realistic in the first place. I don't know. Like the end result was like a little too corny. I think it'd be more effective if you didn't show the end result. You didn't show her body. Now the second game is with the judge who gave the driver a light sentence. Now in his game, he is tied up to in this big little bat, and while when the game starts, this machine is carrying these rotten and nasty pigs, dead pigs, been probably rotting for days, and they're put into the meat grinder, and they just like they must it's so fucking nerve. The big gulp, it's just covering him, and he's like sitting in it, soaking in it. It's like, I love meat, I love meat, I love meat. Why you make me want to not eat it? Why you make me want to not eat it? And Jeff's role in this is to forgive the judge for the light sentence enough till he has to burn some of his son's possessions, his not just his toys, but even some of his son's photos, until it releases the key. This one, Jeff actually does pass. He saves the judge despite his rage that consumes him. Because there's a lot of time he's sitting there arguing with him, like, you could have done this, I could have done that, but no, it was too late. The guy's already gone. But yeah, that was the nasty factor of the film. Like, complete. Probably the best trap in the film. Then the third game Jeff has to play is when Timothy, the man who actually hit his son, a college student who was probably rushing that day to get to classes or something. We have no idea why it happened. They don't fully go into that, unless there's a dialogue piece that I miss. Now, if you actually watch the trailer for Saw X or Saw 10 or whatever the hell it is, we actually get to see Jigsaw designing that trap in his notebook. You see the headpiece Timothy wears. You can see the crucifixion thing that Timothy will be later strapped onto. This one is very nasty because it twists and breaks each limb, starting with the arms and the legs and finally the head. Like, and Timothy is probably the most sympathetic. Well, not sympathetic. The actor sells his pain and desperation to leave. But it's different because he barely gets a chance to really talk to Jeff. Unlike the witness and like the judge, who got these whole dialogue sections with Jeff. Timothy doesn't really get that. He doesn't get to explain his part. Which, yeah, nothing Timothy said probably would have helped his case. It probably wouldn't help Jeff move on, but I think it would have been more important for him to say why and who and what caused the accident. But the trap itself is, it's just nasty enough. It's painful. It's freaking painful, but it's not nasty and disgusting as the pig trap. The whole thing where Jeff has to get the key without triggering the shotgun, that was cool. I love that. And I love Jeff is actually smart enough to figure it out. He's like, okay, if I yank the key, I'm gonna get shot. So I'm gonna gently untie the key. There we go. He still pulls the thing back though, and ducks, and the bullet hits the judge. But why did you let the string snap back? Why didn't you just like gently guide it back in there? I don't know. We need another body count. This is a horror film. We need the bodies need to drop right here. Then it comes to the final game of the film, where Amanda has to either let the doctor live. I forgot her name already. Has to either let the doctor live or kill her. And John is being Jigsaw, not being being telling everything in half truths and riddles. So instead of saying, Amanda, you need to stop doing this. I know what you're doing. This isn't our way. I'm about to say right way. No, this isn't our way. You can't just randomly start killing people. It's disgusting. It's distasteful. You gotta put them in traps first. And like, how much I love Amanda's character. It is awesome seeing her break down. The actress sells it. She sells how confused she is, and how upset she is from seeing someone else getting John's attention. She wants to be the center of John's world, and the fact that she sees that she's not in this moment, that he is giving his affection to someone else from what she thinks, is so breaking her up inside. And she just casually just points the gun and shoots. It's like, now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Fucked up. And Jeff comes in, bang! It's like a showdown in here, except both gunmen just pop up at random. And it comes to the last game of the film, where John says, "This is your test. This is your test, Jeff. Can you forgive me? Can you forgive me for putting you and your ex-wife through all this horrible drama? Can you forgive me for putting you through these terrible tests?" And you have Jeff, who is so filled with rage, he's like going through the room, looking around like what he can kill John with, and then he does it like, "It's okay. I forgive you." And what does he do? He takes the power saw and slices John's neck with it. And that was, if there is a money shot in this film, that was it. That was the money shot. Watching the all-powerful John Kramer, this omnipotent god. And don't you dare say he's not omnipotent. This man knows so much, it's ridiculous. As is seen throughout this entire franchise. It's like, as he's slowly dying, and he's so confident in it all. He's so confident, like, yes, I knew this might happen. There's like a 95% chance it was going to happen, and there was only a 5% chance that I wouldn't die. Which then I will move on to all these different games. And then the tragic part happens where Jigsaw heart flatlines. It triggers the bomb collar on the doctor, and her head just really just goes up like it was hit by a firing squad. And I love it too because it's an awesome edit. I think it's played with another rendition of Hello Zep, where just like every Jigsaw film, we get flashbacks, flash forwards of everything that happened before, all connecting, all fitting the pieces of the puzzle. And then you just cold cut to what the remains of her face is like, God damn. The twist of the doctor and Jeff being husband and wife, or exes, that was when I first watched it when I was a wee bit young. I don't think I fully got it, or like I didn't It's something about me didn't fully understand or get it. Actually, now it's kind of obvious as the film keeps going forward and forward. Like, okay, they're connected somehow. Like, because you get all the pictures of his family, the cut up pictures of him, of his daughter, of their son, but you don't see the mother. Like, okay, yeah, she's the ex-wife, she's the mom in this scenario, and it kind of sucks with Jeff because it's consistent with his character being this rage, having his rage consume him, but it's sad that he couldn't let go of it for that moment his when the mother of his children is dying in his arms. Instead of rushing out of the building trying to find help, he takes his sweet time to take revenge on Jigsaw. And it's like, no, you couldn't. If you just got her out of there, it would have you would have saved her. Actually, no, the collar probably was exploded. Unless that part was a lie, we have no idea. But this one, part I do hate about Jigsaw though. He is such a bastard in this because he literally doesn't tell Jeff that, oh yeah, your wife might die if I die. Like, if you kill me, it's going to somehow kill her. He doesn't have to explain why it might kill her, but he never gives a hint that it's going to, and that his final game would have been saving their daughter. And you're like, oh, she's trapped somewhere with a limited amount of air. Like, John, because I think this is the first time in any of the films where they bring a children into the game. I know there's one film where a teenager brought into the game, but yeah, it's a teenager. Teenagers are disgusting miniature adults. You know, but it's like a little girl as a kid. It's like, John, why, John? John! No, I'm expecting it. This is Jigsaw. The man, he's a madman. He thinks everything he does is beautiful and golden. But speaking of Jigsaw, once again, give props to Tobin Bell for this amazing performance, taking on this iconic, he made iconic character. Because even when he's so sick and dying, he does nothing but lay in a hospital bed the entire movie. Just one scene where he is puking up, they have to do something to calm him down. They had to drill a hole in his brain. He still commands the movie. His voice, his presence, how he is framed by the camera. He never once feels really weak and fragile. He always feels like he's in control. I don't know what's about it. Maybe it's the voice. The voice is his voice gets you. Your voice gets you. But yeah, this is a very different film from the other the previous movies. Much more deep and emotional. Yes, there's a lot of nastiness and bloodiness, but the emotion, Jeff's inner turmoil to let go of his revenge, the doctor and her trying to find comfort in living, trying to regain focus in her life, Amanda and her broken psyche of wanting to be the only person in John's world, allowing John to survive. It was really good. I think it was a smart decision because it made these characters feel so much more real than just these over intelligent, powered villains. And also, while this movie ends with John dying, which this was made probably in the 80s, it'd probably be called Saw: The Final Chapter. Yeah, there's so many hints that the story's been continue with Amanda receiving that letter, but we never seen what's in the letter. The hint at Hoffman introducing this new character out of the blue. Showing the images of John's wife, and of course John swallowing the tape near the end of the movie. It says "Play me," and they're definitely setting up for a sequel. I think younger me didn't understand why they're doing all that. They killed John. Why? What's the point of doing a part 4? They killed John. Then part 4 comes out oh my god, he's back! John's alive! It has to be alive! He's the only one that can be Jigsaw. I'm pretty sure that's what my reaction was when I heard part 4 was coming out. But yeah, this is Saw 3. Probably what the Saw movie I've probably seen the most and have the most memories of watching. But how do you think about Saw 3? Do you hate it? Do you like it? Where does it stand in your ranking of this whole franchise? Did you like the more emotional attempts in this film besides just being horror, stabby, stabby, or torture? Be more precise. Tell me down below in the comments. And I will see y'all in our next Saw interaction, which will be Saw 4. The first Saw movie I saw in theaters. So yeah, we'll be back later. And game over.